Introduction: Scale insects that affect trees. This presentation covers information on some of the common insect scales that can affect trees and how they can be managed. The first insect scale is calico scale. It is a non-native, soft scale, originally from Asia. Calico scale adult females are 1/4 inch long, black with white spots. The young crawlers are white, then turn yellow as they mature. In mid-June, the adult females start to turn brown. They lay eggs and then die. They can lay up to 4,600 eggs. The eggs hatch and the crawlers settle on the underside of leaves along leaf veins. Heavy infestations of calico scale cause stress, stunted growth, branch dieback, leaf yellowing, honeydew, and sooty mold. Preferred hosts of calico scale include maple, sweet gum, dogwood, honey locust, hackberry, and many other tree species. Calico scale can be found in the eastern and central United States. Calico scale can be managed with a dinoside or imicide treatment in early spring when the leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Inject after bloom to protect pollinators on flowering trees. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Cottony camellia scale is a non-native, soft scale originally from Asia. The cottony camellia scale females are oval, 1/8 of an inch, 3 millimeters long. They are tan with brown margins. White ovisacs are 1/4 of an inch, 6 millimeters long. Crawlers are pale yellow. Adult females overwinter on the leaves of evergreen trees and on the bark of deciduous trees. They migrate to leaves to lay eggs in spring. Females die after they have laid eggs in white ovisacs that can contain up to 1,000 eggs. Crawler activity is from mid-June to mid-October. Crawlers can be found on the underside of leaves. The cottony camellia scale has 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of cottony camellia scale include reduced growth, off color, light green foliage, honeydew, and sooty mold. The preferred hosts are camellia, yew, holly, maple, as well as other ornamental plants. The range of the cottony camellia scale is eastern and central United States and on the west coast. Cottony camellia scale can be managed with dinoside or imicide applied in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Cottony maple scale. Cottony maple scale is a native soft scale. The adult females are 3/16 of an inch long, oval-shaped and flat. They are brown or black in color. Their ovisacs are white, cottony, around 1/4 of an inch, 6 millimeters long. The crawlers are a pale yellow color. Cottony maple scale overwinters as immatures on twigs. Females fall off the tree and leave white ovisacs. Eggs hatch and the crawlers appear in mid-June. They settle on the underside of leaves. There is 1 generation of cottony maple per year. Heavy infestations of cottony maple scale cause reduced growth, yellow leaves, stunting, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Preferred hosts include beech, dogwood, elm, hawthorn, linden, locusts, maple, oak, poplar, sycamore, willow, and other shade trees. Cottony maple scale may be found throughout the United States. Cottony maple scale can be managed by treating with dinoside or imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Crepe myrtle bark scale. Crepe myrtle bark scale is a non-native, soft scale recently introduced from Asia. The crawlers are tiny, pink, and require a hand lens to see. Mature females congregate on the underside of branches and in pruning wounds. They appear white due to the ovisacs containing eggs and resemble mealybugs. The crepe myrtle bark scale overwinters as eggs in the ovisacs. The first generation hatches from mid-April to May. Winged males mate with females that lay up to 250 eggs in a white ovisac. The females die and fall off the tree after they have laid eggs. The white ovisacs remain in the tree. Crepe myrtle bark scale can have 2 to 4 overlapping generations per year. Heavy crepe myrtle bark scale infestations can cause reduced growth, leaf yellowing, reduced flowering and reduced flower cluster size, premature bark peeling, honeydew, and sooty mold. Crepe myrtle scale's preferred hosts are crepe myrtle, but they will spread to other adjacent plants. They may be found from New Mexico to Mid-Atlantic to Delaware. Crepe myrtle bark scale can be managed by treating with Dinoside or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. European elm scale. European elm scale is a non-native, soft scale from Europe. European elm scale adult females are 5/16 of an inch in diameter with a round disc shape. They are gray to reddish-brown with a white waxy fringe. The crawlers are a yellow or orange color about 3/64 of an inch in length. European elm scale overwinter as immature crawlers in bark crevices. In spring, females swell, turn dark reddish-brown, lay eggs, and die. The eggs hatch from June to July. The crawlers are active on the underside of leaves. They migrate back to branches in late summer. European elm scale have 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of European elm scale cause reduced growth, premature leaf drop starting on lower branches, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Their preferred hosts are American elms and other elms. The range of the European elm scale is the United States and Canada, wherever elms are grown. European elm scale can be managed with the treatment of Dinoside or Imicide applied in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Fletcher scale. Fletcher scale is a native soft scale originally from Europe. Adult Fletcher scale females are round and 3/16 of an inch long. They are yellowish-brown in color. Usually, they are on twigs and stems of the host plant. Crawlers are smaller, flatter, and feed on the needles. Fletcher scale overwinter as second instar nymphs on the twigs and needles of the host plant. Adult females begin laying eggs in late May. They can lay from 500 to 600 eggs. The eggs hatch into crawlers from mid-June through mid-July. They migrate to a twig or branch where they feed. There is 1 generation of Fletcher scale per year. Fletcher scale infestations cause reduced growth, chlorotic, yellow needles, and premature needle drop. They produce honeydew and sooty mold. The preferred hosts are arborvitae, yew, juniper, and cypress. Fletcher scale may be found throughout the United States. For control of Fletcher scale, treat with Dinoside or Imicide in early spring when needles have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Gloomy scale. Gloomy scale is a native armored or hard scale. Mature female gloomy scale are gray, 1/8 of an inch in diameter. They are round, convex with black shed skins in the center. Dead scales remain on bark for years. The crawlers are orange in color. Gloomy scale overwinters as immatures on the host tree's bark. Eggs are deposited in June. Crawlers hatch and are active in July and August. Eggs and crawlers are under covers. Gloomy scale have 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of gloomy scale can cause stunted growth and branch dieback. The preferred hosts of gloomy scale are red and silver maple trees. Occasionally, they can be found on box elder, catalpa, elm, hackberry, mulberry, and sycamore trees. They may be found throughout the eastern United States. Gloomy scale can be managed with the treatment of Dinoside or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded. Use the highest rate allowed. Juniper scale. Juniper scale is a non-native, armored or hard scale originally from Europe. The juniper scale crawlers are yellow. The adult females are circular, 1.5 millimeters long, with a waxy parchment-like cover. Males are smaller and have an oblong shape. Juniper scale females overwinter as mature fertilized adults. In mid-May, females lay an average of 40 eggs. Crawlers hatch 10 to 14 days later. There is one generation per year. Symptoms of a juniper scale infestation include yellow, chlorotic foliage, and branch dieback. The entire tree can die with heavy infestations. The preferred hosts of juniper scale are juniper, eastern red cedar, cypress, false cypress, and incense cedar. They may be found throughout the continental United States. Juniper scale can be managed with a treatment of dinoside applied in early spring. Use the highest rate allowed. Kermes scale. Kermes scale is a native soft scale. There are several types of Kermes scale across North America. Adult females produce a dark, waxy covering as they mature, which makes them hard to distinguish from galls. They are round, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch long. They can be creamy, white to brown in color under their waxy coating. Crawlers are salmon-colored, 0.4 millimeters long with prominent legs and antennae. Kermes scale overwinter as crawlers on twigs and branches. The adults emerge in early summer. Females lay eggs in late summer. The crawlers hatch in the fall and migrate to twigs and branches. There is one generation per year. Heavy infestations of Kermes scale can cause reduced growth, leaf flagging, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Oaks are the preferred host of Kermes scale. They can be found throughout most of North America. Kermes scale can be managed by treating with dinoside or imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Magnolia scale. Magnolia scale is a soft scale that is native to the United States. Magnolia scale is one of the largest scale insects in the United States. Adult females are up to 1/2 of an inch long, convex with an oval shape. The young females are pinkish-orange and covered in a powdery white wax. Mature females are yellow to brown in color. They are not covered with the white wax. Crawlers are black and 1/16 of an inch long. Magnolia scale overwinter as nymphs on 1 to 2 year old twigs. They mature as adults in late July through August. Eggs hatch inside the adult female's body. Crawlers emerge in late August through September. They settle down on young twigs where they will overwinter. There is one generation per year. The symptoms of a heavy magnolia scale infestation are reduced growth, light green chlorotic leaves, reduction in foliage and flowering, twig and branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. The preferred hosts of magnolia scale are magnolia trees and shrubs. Non-native magnolias are more susceptible to damage than native varieties. Magnolia scale may be found throughout the eastern and midwestern United States. Magnolia scale can be controlled with the treatment of dinoside in fall when crawlers are detected. Inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Minute cypress scale. Minute cypress scale is a non-native, armored, or hard scale originally from Europe. Minute cypress scale adult females are white with a yellow, round shed cover. They are 1/8 of an inch or less in length. The males are elongate, white, and less than 1/16 of an inch long. They are very similar to juniper scale and can be found together on the same plant. Because they are so small, the minute cypress scale can easily be overlooked. Minute cypress scale overwinter as fertilized adult females on the needles. In mid-May, The females lay an average of 40 eggs. Crawlers hatch 10 to 14 days later. Adult males and females appear in July. They have one generation per year in cooler areas and can have 2 generations on the west coast. Symptoms of minute cypress scale include yellow, chlorotic foliage, branch dieback with moderate infestations or death to the entire tree with heavy infestations. The preferred hosts of minute cypress scale include juniper, spruce, leyland cypress, and Italian cypress. The range of the minute cypress scale is the east coast from Florida to Vermont and the west coast from California to Washington state. Minute cypress scale can be managed with a treatment of Dynacide applied in early spring. Use the highest rate allowed. Oak felt scale. Oak felt scale are a soft scale that are native to the United States. The female oak felt scales are dark brown. They have a white felt-like cover when they are producing eggs. They resemble mealybugs in size and appearance. Oak felt scale overwinter as adults on twigs. The females produce around 100 eggs in mid-April. Crawlers hatch in mid-May and migrate to new twigs. A second generation is produced in midsummer. Heavy infestations of oak felt scale cause reduced growth, honeydew, and sooty mold. Oak trees are the preferred host of oak felt scale. They can be found in the eastern United States and on the west coast. Oak felt scale can be managed with a treatment of Dynacide or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Oak Licanium scale. Oak Licanium scale is a native soft scale. The adult females of Oak Licanium scale are light to dark brown in color with an oval round shape. They are 1/4 of an inch long, convex, and have 2 humps. The crawlers are light in color. Oak Licanium scales overwinter as crawlers on twigs and branches. Females mature in April and May, causing the most damage. Crawlers appear in summer and feed on leaf veins until mid-September. There is 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of Oak Licanium scale cause reduced growth, stunted leaves, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Preferred hosts of Oak Licanium scale are oaks and chinkapin. They may also be found on birch, hickory, and sycamore. They can be found throughout the United States. Treat for Oak Licanium scale with Dynacide or Imicide. Apply in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Obscure scale. Obscure scale is a native armored or hard scale. Mature female obscure scale are brown-gray in color and 1/8 of an inch in diameter. They are round and slightly convex. Shed covers are black when rubbed. Mature females can be found on 3 to 4-year-old branches. In midsummer, females are light purple. Obscure scale overwinters as nymphs on twigs and branches. They become mature adults in May. Females lay about 50 eggs over several months. Crawlers are active in mid-July through September. Both eggs and crawlers can be found under covers. They have 1 generation per year. Heavy obscure scale infestations cause stunted growth, premature leaf drop, and branch dieback. The preferred hosts of obscure scale are oaks, including black and pin, also beech, dogwood, hickory, maple, pecans, and willow. Obscure scale can be found in the eastern United States to the Mississippi River and in California. To manage obscure scale, treat with Dynacide or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded. Use the highest rate allowed. Oyster shell scale. Oyster shell scale is an armored or hard scale native to the United States. Mature females are 1/8 of an inch long, light, dark brown, gray in color with yellow bands. Their elongated shape resembles an oyster shell. Crawlers are a pale yellow color. Oyster shell scale overwinter as white eggs under the female's waxy cover. The eggs hatch into crawlers that emerge in mid to late May through June. There can be 1 or 2 generations per year, depending on the weather. Symptoms of a heavy infestation include shell-encrusted branches and branch dieback. Heavily affected small trees can die if they are not effectively managed. Preferred hosts of oyster shell scale are ash, beech, dogwood, elm, lilac, maple, poplar, willow, and many other trees. Oyster shell scale can be found throughout the United States. It is more common in the northern states. Oyster shell scale can be managed with Dynacide or Imicide applied in early spring when leaves have expanded. On flowering trees, inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate allowed. Pine needle scale. Pine needle scale is a native armored or hard scale. Pine needle scale adult females are 3 mm long with a yellow tip and a white waxy coating. Crawlers are a red-orange color and turn darker as they mature. There are 2 generations of pine needle scale per year. They overwinter as eggs under the dead female's waxy covering. The first generation crawlers are active in mid-May. The second generation crawlers are active in July through August. During September, females deposit approximately 40 of the second generation overwintering eggs. Pine needle scale can cause chlorotic yellow to brown needles, a frosted silver appearance, premature needle drop, and branch dieback. Pine needle scale preferred hosts are pine, spruce, white fir, Douglas fir, and cedar. The range for pine needle scale is the continental United States, predominantly in the North and Canada. Pine needle scale can be managed with the treatment of Dynacide in early spring. Use the highest rate allowed. Pine tortoise scale. Pine tortoise scale are a soft scale native to the United States. Mature female pine tortoise scales are 1/4 of an inch long and round oval shaped. They are light brown cream to dark brown black with colored mottling. They have a slightly wrinkled appearance. Crawlers are light amber in color. Pine tortoise scale overwinter on twigs as immature mated females. They migrate to the base of new needles in spring. Adult females lay up to 500 eggs that hatch into crawlers in June to July. They can have 1 to 4 generations per year. Heavy infestations of pine tortoise scale cause reduced growth, needle loss, honeydew, and sooty mold. Trees may die after several years of heavy infestation if untreated. Pine tortoise scale preferred hosts include pines, Austrian, Chinese, Jack, loblolly, Mugo, Scotch, shortleaf, slash, Swiss mountain, red, Virginia, white pines. The pine tortoise range is the east and Midwest United States to the Dakotas. Pine tortoise scale can be managed with a Dynacide or Imicide treatment applied in early spring when needles have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. San Jose scale. San Jose scale is a non-native armored or hard scale. Mature San Jose scale females are 1/16 of an inch in diameter. They are round with circular rings, gray-brown in color with a yellow center. The crawlers are yellow. San Jose scale overwinter as gray immatures on the tree's bark. The females can produce up to 400 young. Crawlers are active from June to early September. There are 3 overlapping generations per year in some areas. San Jose scale produces a toxin that causes leaf wilting, branch dieback, and stunted growth. They can kill large trees if left untreated. The preferred hosts of San Jose scale are rosaceous plants in over 80 plant families. They can be found throughout the United States. San Jose scale may be controlled with Dynacide or Imicide. Apply in early spring when leaves have expanded. On flowering trees, inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate allowed. Striped pine scale. Striped pine scale is a soft scale that is native to the United States. Striped pine scale adult females are round, 1/4 of an inch in diameter. They are a reddish-brown color with a longitudinal cream-white stripe. They resemble miniature helmets. Crawlers are tan to orange-brown in color. Striped pine scale overwinters on twigs as immature fertilized females. In early spring, eggs are laid. Crawlers are very active after hatching in mid-June to July. Male crawlers migrate to needles while female crawlers remain on twigs. Striped pine scale have 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of striped pine scale cause reduced growth, yellow needles, dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Striped pine scale preferred hosts are pines including shortleaf, Swiss mountain, red pitch, Scotch, Virginia, lodgepole, and loblolly. They may be found in the eastern United States to the Colorado mountains. Striped pine scale can be controlled with Dynacide or Imicide. Apply in early spring when needles have expanded and crawlers are detected. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Terrapin scale. Terrapin scale is a native soft scale. Adult terrapin scale are 1/8 of an inch in diameter, brown-red to brown-black in color with a yellowish-red stripe. They become darker in color as they mature. Crawlers have very little color. Terrapin scale is often misidentified as Lacanium scale. Terrapin scales overwinter on twigs as adult females. They give birth to live young crawlers over a period of 4 to 6 weeks in early summer. Crawlers migrate to the undersides of leaves and feed near the midrib. Terrapin scale have 1 generation per year. Heavy infestations of terrapin scale cause reduced growth, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. The preferred hosts of terrapin scale are birch, hawthorn, linden, maple, mulberry, poplar, prunus, redbud, sycamore, and others. They may be found in the eastern and southeastern United States. To control terrapin scale, treat with Dynacide or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Inject after bloom on flowering trees to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. Tulip tree scale. Tulip tree scale is a native soft scale. Tulip tree scale are one of the largest soft-scale insects in the United States. Adult females are 1/4 of an inch in diameter and round. They are orange to black in summer. Crawlers are dark black in color. Tulip tree scale overwinter as crawlers on twigs. They resume feeding in the spring. Females turn darker in color in late summer. During August, they produce up to 3,000 crawlers over several weeks and die. Crawlers are active August through October. There is 1 generation of tulip tree scale per year. Heavy infestations of tulip tree scale cause reduced growth, leaf yellowing, premature leaf drop, branch dieback, honeydew, and sooty mold. Preferred hosts of tulip tree scale include tulip trees and members of the magnolia family, also linden, hickory, and walnut. Tulip tree scale can be found in the eastern United States and in California. Tulip tree scale can be managed with the treatment of Dynacide or Imicide in early spring when leaves have expanded and crawlers are detected. Inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate available for heavy populations. White peach scale. White peach scale is a non-native armored or hard scale. The mature females are 1/16 of an inch in diameter and round. They are white with yellow shed skins in the center. The adult males are 1/16 of an inch long. They are snow white in color and hang from the undersides of branches in clusters. Female crawlers are salmon-colored. Male crawlers are white in color. White peach scale overwinters as adult fertilized females. Crawler populations peak in mid-May, early July, and early September. There are 3 generations per year. Symptoms of white peach scale are small branch and twig dieback, yellow leaves, and premature leaf drop. The preferred hosts of white peach scale are peach, dogwood, mulberry, persimmon, walnut, and over 100 other genera of trees. They may be found throughout the southern half of the United States. White peach scale may be controlled with a treatment of dinoside or imicide in early spring when leaves are expanded. On flowering trees, inject after flowering to protect pollinators. Use the highest rate allowed.
The following presentation